it. Show.
Click subscribe to get daily Manchester United content from Passionate Reds, only on All for United.
Hello and welcome to All for United. We're back again for the fan preview for the game against Arsenal at the weekend after a pretty dour day yesterday. I think they hosted the post-game review last night, and I think the mood was pretty low. But we're going to try and raise it in this fan preview. We got Bainsley, we got Reese, we got John. I think we're expecting Benny and Abdul as well, but they aren't here just yet. But I'm sure they'll be with us imminently. So plenty to get through tonight. Obviously, Chelsea have played Arsenal. That has quite a big bearing on what's going to go on with United for the rest of the season. I think, obviously, was it 4-2 in the end? I've just looked up.
Yeah, 4-2, big 4-2. Result, wasn't it?
It was a very good result for them, yeah.
It was 3-2 before I muted it, and now it's 4-2. Right. But yeah, not a great result for United in the grand scheme of things. But obviously, Reece did like I said, he did the post-match review yesterday. But we'll just get your thoughts, Bainsy, on an awful result last night. And how are you feeling the day after?
Yeah, it was expected, really. There was a few people that said that, they got a little bit of hope or whatever. I suppose I did. I thought we could, if it goes 0-0, it would be a bit of a miracle and then anything happens, really. But no, I kind of predicted it would be something like that. It would be 1-0 or 2-0 at half-time. We'll look decent, and then they'll kill the game at 3-0, and then they'll score late on, and said it in the WhatsApp group. So, it was expected for me. It's just where we are. There's nothing much to it. You've got City and Liverpool who are like way up there, and then you've just got the rest. You really do just got the rest. I know Chelsea some fans will probably argue that, look, they're up there as well, but I don't think they are. I think they've looked dodgy for a while now, as we've seen with that Arsenal result. But yeah, what can you say, really? I've got loads of Liverpool fans, so my phone's been blowing up all day and even at work, so I can't exactly get away from it.
Yeah, that was my first thing when I got to work this morning. The guy that works in the office next to us is a Liverpool fan, and we're all United fans in the office. So I just walked past him and went, fuck off now. I'm not talking to you. he's actually an all right Liverpool fan, though. He didn't do any glory.
They don't take the piss too much kind of thing, but they just rub it in when they need to.
He wouldn't have said anything, no. But yeah, obviously a disappointed one. Reece, we'll get your thoughts kind of the morning after. Obviously, you were hosting duty, so I guess opinions kind of you're not keeping your opinions to yourself, but obviously it's more about your panel's views. So, how are you feeling day after?
Yeah, it was funny how you both bumped into Liverpool fans. It's like I think I bumped into one as well at work, and it's a bit like rats, isn't it? You're never so far away from 3 meters away from a Liverpool fan.
That's it. Yeah.
No, but Callum, the guys helped me out really last night, and Callum summed it up pretty well. I think he was, angry and rightly so. We were all pretty solemn, really. I think mainly because, as Bainsy said there, it was kind of. We were just expecting, weren't we? I think we expected it, but we didn't really want to see it. And then just the manner in which they scored the goals as well. It wasn't like, we fought and they got, a goal from a corner where you think, okay, it's one of those things, or we get a free kick and they score a free kick on the edge of the box, and it's like sort of undefendable.
It wasn't moments of magic, was it?
It was just really poor.
It was just they just played football and we just allowed them to play it, and then they scored.
And there was a moment in the second half, wasn't there, Bainsy? Like in the second half where
we looked all right, didn't we?
Yeah, and you felt there was some control.
10 minutes, yeah. Sancho was looking bright for 10-15 minutes, weren't he? But
yeah, we controlled Salah a little bit for 10-15 minutes, and then it just all kind of blew up in his face. And it once we tried a silly pass. I think Ranić said that, we tried a stupid 12-yard pass into Alanga's feet, which is not his game. And then he, Robertson was waiting for it, and they went on and scored, and it just killed us off. But they just, for me, it was just kind of the cherry on top of a really shit cake of a season. And
I'm not sure it's even worth being called a cake.
it's
is
not
it,
even
really?
a cherry, is it? I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not a cherry. But it was just a bit of a realization, I think, yesterday. And I watched some of Ranić's reaction to it after the game last night. It was sat up in bed. I couldn't really sort of sleep, and you could tell he was fuming, and he really wanted to come out and dig the players out. And I think there was a moment where he sort of said about injuries and why are we getting so many injuries? Why is that?
Yeah.
And you could tell he wanted to just say because the players are bottling it, because players don't want to play. And the same with Pogba last night. And he bit his tongue and it was a little bit more diplomatic and didn't say that. But he basically said, look, Liverpool are playing 4 competitions, we're playing 1, yet we've got triple the amount of injuries. Why is that? Because they're bottling it. And But
I kind of watched the post-match stuff when I got back. I went out just for a bit of safety in numbers. I went out with my mates last night and watched it, even though we all knew what was coming.
That's dangerous.
Four or five were just sat together and just rather than sitting there morbidly on your own in your living room, just thought, well, we'll just go out and have a beer, and at least we've been out for a beer, and it's not that bad. But yeah, I got back and watched the analysis late on last night and watched Ralph's presser. I don't remember loads of it because I had a few beers, but yeah, I just remember him being pretty down, and he seemed embarrassed, to be honest with you. But as ever, he talks like a pundit, doesn't he, Ralph? In the sense that he's kind of removed.
It's just honest, isn't he? He's not biased. He's not, he doesn't owe anyone anything. He speaks. I think he actually speaks quite well in the pressers, and he's just. It is what it is. That's the kind of attitude he's got, and it's kind of the whole. I'm just going to say what I feel, and this is what I feel we should do. I hope he does his wonders when he moves upstairs and helps the directors of footballs and all that. But we'll soon see.
We will. John, your thoughts the morning after? I mean, you can't be happy, obviously.
I think Roy Keane summed it up with his comments when he's like, we're not even angry anymore. It's just sadness now amongst the fans. For me, he's spot on. I too, like many others, feared the worst last night. I didn't believe it was a free hit. I was just hoping we didn't embarrass ourselves, but unfortunately, we commit the cardinal sin at Anfield, in particular, conceding the first 5 minutes when the crowd's up and that. There's not a lot more we can say. Obviously, we'll discuss some of the performances who should play in this game against Arsenal. For me, I would want some of the players involved against Liverpool not to be playing against Arsenal. But yeah, they've let the fans down, they've let the club down, and when they always say, "Oh, we'll come back, fight back," I don't even think some of the players care anymore. I really don't. And you try to be positive and get yourself up for games, but it's that start which I saw last night. It's against Liverpool and City in both fixtures against each team this season. The score's been 15 goals to them, 1 goal to us.
Yeah.
And that's just unforgivable. And I have no expectation for the next match. I just simply said, can we please just be more competitive against City and Liverpool when we play them next season? That's all I ask. But it's going to take ages to rebuild. But yeah, another desperate showing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of like Benji said, and like you've all said, kind of said it was kind of expected. And I think it particularly is against Liverpool and City because they're obviously streets ahead, and maybe even throw Chelsea into the argument, even though they're obviously capitulated a little bit tonight. But it is Arsenal on Saturday, and that is a bit of a different prospect. But they're as much of a basket case as we are, along with Tottenham, really. But I mean, before this result tonight, was there a bit of a chat? Well, I felt there was a bit of a chance, but even I'm dwindling on my optimism of it still being on there. But Benz, you seem a bit it's not over, even though they've took the 3 points there.
No, I don't think so, because we're still Are we still 3 points behind them and Tottenham, right? So
yeah,
we still got,
played a game more, yeah.
Yeah, played a game. All right, fair enough. Yeah, we played a game more. I don't know who the game in hand is actually.
They're playing each other in the game in hand.
Is that the game in hand? Right. Okay. So I mean, again, that could play in our favour, because look, it all depends on Saturday's result. For me, we're 3 points behind them. If we beat them, and that's a big if. If we beat them, it all gets leveled up, right? And the best result that we could ask for is a draw out of them two, or obviously one of them to win, and it's a win-win really. And Tottenham will be asking for the same thing, that we draw, or Man United win, or some of the others. So it's poised. It's going to go right to the end of the season, to the last day. I think we can still do it. We don't deserve it, but as I've said, we don't want Europa League, do we? And I don't think we're going to go that far and finish. I hope not, that we finish 8th. Even though that I had a conversation with a few of my mates yesterday, and I actually said probably the best thing for United right now is actually to have no European football at all. So actually finish 8th.
That's what Paul Scholes said.
Yeah, it's literally finish 8th. That gives the new manager, probably Erik ten Hag, or it will be Erik ten Hag, enough time during the week to say, right, okay, I'm working on this. This is my idea. And it gives him enough time, because if you play Europe, obviously you've got the whole travelling, you've got the midweek games, especially Europa, where it's a Thursday, Sunday, and that's a horrible schedule to work with. So again, it might be even better that we fall out of it, if we fall out of it completely and finish 8th, or we go into the Europa. And look, we've still got a chance to get into the Champions League. Look, and I don't think we're going to win both of them. I don't think we'll win either of them. We definitely won't win the Champions League next year, and we probably won't win the Europa League next year. But out of the two, you would prefer to be in the Champions League, right? So why not try and go for it? We're only 3 points behind them. Again, if we lose on Saturday, it's done. No point even thinking about it. It doesn't even matter what Chelsea do. If we win, again, obviously it's on. If we draw, then it obviously is dependent on how the other teams get on, like Chelsea and Spurs. But that's just, I think it's still on. Mathematically, it's still on, so why not? You might as well be a bit positive about it.
Yeah, well, someone's got to be positive about it, haven't they? Even if I'm not going to be, and if my faith's dwindling, then I
don't think we'll win, by the way, but yeah, it's still on.
That's another question for later, I suppose. Isn't it? We'll just switch the order up anyway, because John's moved around on the screen, and I'm just going to leave him there. So, John, do you think it's over if they don't win, or do you think it's still on for the top 4 with that result tonight at Stamford Bridge?
I always felt that this game against Arsenal would be, in many ways, the decider. But I think results, everybody's dropping points at the moment and will continue to drop points. So I do think it'll be over for us if. Basically, I think we have to win every game between now and the end of the season, stand any chance of the top 4, which oncoming predicament, I don't think we will. But for me, it's obviously a big result for Arsenal. So they played very well at Chelsea. Obviously, we're going to play Chelsea next week, which could be a big game if obviously we get a result against Arsenal. But I think at Chelsea they're a bit weird at the moment. I think they're playing like a team that's, we're finishing for, we're not in danger of the top 4, but we're not going to win the league. So they're kind of like maybe just looking for the FA Cup final potentially.
They could, just quickly, they could be in danger because if we win, okay, again, it's an if, but if we win the rest of our games, they actually get dragged into the top 4 race, because don't Chelsea have to play another big club as well? They have to play us and someone else, right?
I'm not sure they do.
Oh, okay. In what? Regardless, if we beat them,
might be West Ham.
I think it brings the gap down to about 3 points between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Anyway,
Essentially, but I think that obviously we've still got to play them. But yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, I feel this is the crucial game for Scotland. I've been saying it for a few weeks now that I've pinpointed this week as potentially the decider where who finishes in the top four. I think if Arsenal win, they might be favourites for the top four, but basically it's not over yet, because if we do get a result, Arsenal still have some tricky fixtures. They got to go away to West Ham. They've still got to go play Tottenham. I think Tottenham still have to play Arsenal, obviously, and still have to go to Anfield as well. So they've got tricky games. I think they got a London derby against Brentford away as well at the weekend, which could be tricky for them. So it's not over until it's over, but we have to win on Saturday if we're going to stand any chance.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You simply have to win, and anything less than 3 points on Saturday is the writing's on the wall there, really, isn't it? But I don't think it'd particularly surprise any of us either if that didn't happen. But Abdul has joined us. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good. Sorry, I got pulled for a call to work.
So it's perfectly fine. You are here now. That's what matters. How are you feeling today after that Liverpool result? And do you think? I assume you've seen the Arsenal and Chelsea score, and has that changed how you feel about things?
I watched the full game. Actually, I don't think you feel bad when you expect it. If it's when you don't expect it, you actually feel bad. Like last season, whenever we lost a game, I was in shock. It's like, there's no why did you lose this game? And I'll feel bad about it because I felt like we're fighting for something. But now we're not really fighting for something. They're not really fighting for something, and you expected the result anyway. So I did not feel bad about it, to be honest. I just felt like that's the state they're in right now. Like the only way from here is up. That's the worst. That's the bottom. They've reached the bottom.
You would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, there's no lower than losing to Liverpool home and away 4 and 5 now. So
yeah, I mean, I think John mentioned one of the stats before about the City scores like over the last few games. But I think I don't know how many games it was over, but it was United like 2, Liverpool 29 at Anfield or something like that. Something ridiculous like that in the last few years. I think it must have just been away, obviously, but yeah, there's too many stats like that floating around at the moment. It's quite impressive.
Before, it's just a general feel that you thought you could get something. This one, you knew you're losing before the match started. I knew we were losing it. There's just no way we would have won that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Sad state of affairs. Reese, what your thoughts on the top four? Obviously, I imagine you think like everybody else that it has to be a win on Saturday for there to be any chance. But are you still holding hope on that London derby kind of tipping things in our favour if it is a draw, like Baines said?
Yeah, obviously points are going to be dropped in that game, aren't they? Either way, I think the problem being is that both Tottenham and Arsenal are on the same points now. So there's two solidly competing teams fighting for that position, as well as just Arsenal or just Tottenham. So as much as one of them will drop, we would expect it. We need them to drop points elsewhere as well, which is going to be tough. So we beat Arsenal and then Arsenal drop points again against Tottenham, then you'd assume that they'd be well out of the race. But then obviously Spurs are still there. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just this season's been poor, I think, all round, really, other than the top two. So, Chelsea were in with the fight and they dropped off pretty early, didn't they, in the season? So I think if anybody who gets top four, do they really deserve it? I don't know. I won't feel like we deserve it, but then points don't lie. So, you get fourth place because you deserve to be there, because you've got the points that give you that title, like that position. So I don't know. I mean, if we get it, we get it. I don't think we should be as buoyant about it I think we should be assuming that we should all be, because we need such a rebuild, as we've all spoke about before. So it's only going to distract us, and it's only going to give us false hope to. I mean, all it's going to bring is extra revenue, isn't it, to do what we need to do this summer, which is the only positive from it. Because let's be honest, if we get into the Champions League, what is a realistic expectations that we're going to achieve next season in the Champions League.
We ain't going to
And I know we've got to be Man United. I know we've got to be. Well, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, for us as a club now, we need to be realistic, and if we get it, we get it, and we do it on merit because that's what the league system's all about. But mathematically, we're in with a shout. So we're still there. We've got to play Arsenal. They've obviously got to play each other. So it's very much there. But these next two weeks or week and a bit is going to be the critical period, isn't it? So yeah,
definitely. We've had a super chat from our man Gav. He's basically kind of agreeing with you there, Reece. Saying top four's mathematically still on, but there is dwindling faith that the players can do it really. But I mean, there was a lot of chat last night. I think Bruno's words got twisted against him. I think a little bit online today, didn't they? I'm not sure what the exact quote was, but that's just the media playing on your.
When he said
United.
that we're fighting for nothing and they're fighting for everything.
I was really disappointed. I don't know if you want to sort of touch on that, Simon, really, but I was really disappointed with that. I mean, I watched his press conference before the Ranić one, and I was really disappointed because I think his question that he was asked, I'm not quote for quote verbatim, but it was pretty much along the lines of why are they kind of at that position and fighting for all these titles and you're not? And Bruno was like, well, why was the scoreline so heavy? Why has it been a 9-0 over 2 games? And he was like, well, they're fighting for everything and we're not. But but that doesn't answer the question. The reason they're at that position is because they're trying and they're working hard and they're a team and all these things that we're not. So I was really disappointed with Bruno's response, really. I thought it was a bit of a cop-out and a bit lackluster. Just kind of showed the whole reason we're there in the first place. I think it was a little bit... Well,
yeah, but then he also kind of said that of the players checked out of the on holiday and said, but then he pretty strongly came back against that and said, no, that can never happen. We're always fighting for the badge, and so I don't know if his words got misconstrued or not with what he was saying there. I don't know if it's
I don't think he meant it in a way that we're very bad. We don't want to fight. No.
Yeah.
He went back and said if they're not fighting, then they shouldn't be at the club.
It was kind of the manner in how he said it, I think. For me, it was like the way that he said it as opposed to... It didn't seem to have any kind of emotion in what he was saying. But
I think if you put yourself in their shoes, I think about it, they don't know what the hell is going on. Like, how did they get derailed that bad from the season that they had last season? I mean, I always go back to that interview that Rashford gave when we lost the Europa League final. He was so determined in that interview. He's like, the manager is not going to quit. We're not going to quit. We're going to come back. We're going to fight back. We're going to be here again. Yeah. And then you see that person, that player, giving that interview after a huge loss in the final, European final, to the state that these players are in right now. And there is this assumption that players are well aware of every single tactic and everything that happened. I know they're trying, but they're not at the same time. Try to follow instructions, right? But they don't know who fit who. They're not managers themselves, right? So when they go out and try to do something and it's just not coming off, they themselves are confused. So this is the instruction he gave me. Why is it not coming off? Why is things are not meshing together? And I mean, you don't have to go further away from the starting lineup that we put out yesterday. It was so bad. Everything worked against us. Forget form, but other than form, injuries, missing profiles, lack of the gap in midfield that we have as a problem, the goalkeeper, the striker situation, everything was just against us. And you have on the other end a team that was built to perfection. What did you expect the scoreline will be? Of course they're going to look lost. Of course they're going to look like they don't know what the hell is going on and what to do. Yeah, on Ranić, I think he came out and said that, the plan was not to press, but then they pressed anyway. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, was so weird. Honestly,
exactly.
So weird. And this is the thing. It's okay, well, and that's a great point, Abdel, because I saw that interview. It was after, wasn't it? And he said, "Oh yeah, the instruction was not to press as high and not go at them because they will play triangles and they'll go around you." And but then all game you just saw we were pressing them the whole game.
Bruno
So
running head like a headless chicken.
yeah,
Lingard came
and
on
then
and did the same
Maguire
thing.
was it their first goal where Maguire stepped up to, was it Mane, I think, or someone, and you
Yeah.
just think, what is going on? I don't know. The whole lineup was just wrong anyway as well. I'm not digging Ralph out here, but I'm just putting Phil Jones in
for that first goal, right? Like if you're like from a tactical point of view, if you're a manager setting your team up, right, and you wanna combat that idea of having a nine that's dropping in midfield, because that's what Mane's been playing for Liverpool lately. Ever since they got Luis Diaz in January, Mane has been switched as the striker, and he's been dropping in midfield and doing the Firmino role whenever Firmino can't play. So when you have a team that plays a striker that way, you need to have an enforcer. You need to have a center back that comes out, joins the midfield, and stops that guy. By getting closer, tight to him, foul him, whatever he does, just he has to stop him from doing that overload in midfield. But the problem was, because we pressed, Matic pushed up so high, Maguire was in between two worlds. Like he saw Dalot got, beat by a 1-2, and Matic was all the way up the top. Pogba was arguing with the ref. That's your midfield right there. What the hell is your midfield doing, right? So you have this Maguire is like in the ocean of space. He's like, what do I do here? Do I go and stop
press
Mane?
Or do you sit? Yeah.
Or do I and then he stopped. He froze. He didn't know what to do. And that he looked really bad, But it's not on him. It's on the whole setup as a team together. You look so messed up and so lost. Of course Maguire is going to look lost. Why did Matic push up all the way there? Why is Pogba arguing with the ref while the play is still going on? Why is Dalot pushing so high up and can't catch up with Salah? It's a whole mess altogether. And it took one triangle to cancel our entire structure.
Don't know if Abdel's froze there.
Yeah,
I think he might have. Yeah. We'll move on anyway. Are we worried about Arsenal in the same sort of way? I mean, the injury situation doesn't sound like it's going to get any better, so it sounds like we're going to have pretty much the same sort of team on Saturday, Bainesy. And Arsenal are pretty dangerous going forward, at least if they got frailties at the back. But we look susceptible against pretty much everybody, and they've got quality to punish us, whereas maybe a team like Norwich didn't quite have enough to punish us the other day.
This is just it, though, isn't it? I mean, it's we got picked apart by Norwich, and in the first couple of minutes we were picked apart against Norwich, and David De Gea saved a Timo Pukki shot. In the first few minutes, we were picked apart against Liverpool, and they were clinical and scored. And Arsenal, the same thing. What's really interesting with Arsenal today is that I think I saw a stat that they had 20% possession.
Yeah.
And they've turned over Chelsea, scoring 4 goals. Okay, the goals were a bit scrappy, but I think Arsenal's second goal, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was from front to back. They made a defensive mistake. Xhaka tackled Lukaku, went past one player, passed it on to Odegaard. He switches to Saka. It was lovely. Honestly, it was really good football. And I'm if Liverpool have picked us apart as they are, and then you look at Arsenal, who do play silky stuff at times. They'll just pick us apart, and that's the worrying thing. They only had 20% possession or something like that. And they've gone and turned over Chelsea. So and we're leaking goals left, right, and centre at the moment. We don't look tight. We don't look compact. And people are probably going to disagree with me here, but we miss Fred and McTominay because they are the energy in midfield. They're the ones that get across. They're the ones that cover. The amount of times we've seen Fred and McTominay cover, okay, fair enough. McTominay may get it and he misplaces the pass, or he gets it and he tries to take on someone and he loses it. But at the same time, them two both work really hard in the midfield. They'll try and cover as much ground as possible. And you can clearly see now that without them two in the midfield, we look so poor in midfield and at the back because you just don't have them two covering. I hope they do come. I know McTominay said pre-match that if Ralph needed him for 20 minutes in the game, he could come on at the end, which is promising because that means that he might be fit for Saturday. I don't know what's happening with Fred. He weren't even on the bench, was he? So I think he's actually out. I don't think Fred will play.
It's a calf injury, so he said it's going to take some time. He's not.
Yeah, so Fred's out. So look, it's. I don't think we'll win. And if we win by some odd miracle, it'll be just like I can see Ronaldo probably bagging a goal or scoring the winner, or it'll be some kind of fluke penalty or a deflected shot or something like that. We'll just lead goals. And again, Arsenal don't look great at the back, but they do. They look better than us. This is the issue. So,
if I can just say something quick here about what Bainsy was just saying with regards to McFred, right? McFred worked very well last season because we were compact. So the space that they had to cover was a bit smaller, and they had the energy to do it. And the more time passes, the more I realize why Ollie was so adamant not to take off Fred against PSG, despite him being a walking red card. Yeah. But the problem is right now, this season, McFred hasn't worked. And why is that? Because the spacing between the lines all of a sudden got so big. So no matter who you put in the middle, if the space is so big, they won't be able to cover, whether they have the energy or not. It's just too much space to cover. They're in between 2 to 3 players all the time. So they'll play around them as easy as that. Take Liverpool at home, for example. There were pictures where Fred was in the middle between 3 Liverpool players. They're playing around him like he's like a little clown in the middle. No matter how much energy Fred has, he just won't be able to stop that. And that was due to the spacing. So even if you replace Pogba and Matic right now and put Fred and McTominay in the team, if the spacing remains the same, we'll get absolutely destroyed the same way. And this is why I wanted us to be at least a low blocking against Liverpool, so it gives us half a chance. What needs to happen against Arsenal, which is very bad to say considering where Arsenal is coming from, we have to low block Arsenal because we have a problem with our spacing. And the only way we survive this is by narrowing the spacing, by being a low block team, being a Burnley, basically.
Impact.
Yeah, I think Gary Neville was saying something. I don't know if it was on the post-match stuff last night, or if it was on his podcast thing that he does with Martin Tyler afterwards. But he's saying that United haven't looked compact and organised since probably Tottenham away when they won 3-2. And I think he's probably got a point there. They've looked all over the place. And last night, I made a comment last night while we were watching the game, and it looked like Liverpool genuinely had 2 or 3 extra players at times. It was that bad. But
Thiago was toying with us, but at the same time, we were giving Thiago a lot of space. Some of the balls Thiago was playing are so easy. They're like, there it is, all the space you need to play the ball that you want. And he has the quality. He'll ping the ball from whatever you want him to ping it. But you can make Thiago's life difficult if you're compact. But we were not.
No, we haven't been for a while. John, we'll come to you. Are you worried about how we're going to set up really on Saturday? Can you see Rangnick going with a similar sort of plan as he went with against Liverpool?
I don't think he'll go far like he did against Liverpool. Hopefully, I think that was due maybe perhaps his lack of midfield option, maybe. And basically, because he had to play Bruno and Pogba, which they're not the most defensively responsible, so that's probably why I went farther back, perhaps, but it didn't obviously work out. But I wouldn't suspect he will go back to a back. Or obviously, if McTominay is fit enough to play, then he ought to start. We'll have to see about Matic, whether he can play 2 games in a week. We'll have to wait and see. But I do think that will give us a little bit more balance in the midfield if that takes place. But yeah, as Dell's mentioned, you got to remain compact, and is there really a team you trust him to put out that will remain compact? And that's even if you had all your players fit, and let alone all the injuries. I don't think that there is a midfield or a general team approach, because your full-backs, players like Rashford, Langer, Sancho, have all been guilty of not tracking back at times this season, and our full-backs have been exposed time and time again all season. You must obviously remain compact, and I do fear for us, because even I really don't know what team he can put out which will be balanced. And basically, I think a bit like the Norwich game, I think you're just relying on a special moment, maybe from Ronaldo or someone, to hopefully get us a win or hold the line, because we're certainly not going to outplay Arsenal, and they have lost 3 games in a row before tonight. But I watched highlights of that Southampton game, which they lost 1-0. They were all over them, and of course it was man of the match with all the saves. And so even though they have lost games, Arsenal, they've been a little bit unlucky, and maybe they were rewarded tonight because they played impressively. And they've always been compact, Arsenal, so they will be difficult to beat. Whereas us, you look at Norwich and Everton in recent weeks, they couldn't have picked a better opposition to play against than us for needing a result, because we're just as open as a book, and we don't work as a team. We're a team of individuals. So yeah, the only way we can get a result is if Ronaldo gets a goal or 2 potentially, but that's perhaps the only way we're going to win on Saturday.
Yeah, well, it's been the case for most of the season, hasn't it? That just relying on little moments and not actually any particularly decent team player. It does feel like the big thing on Saturday is the midfield issues. Now we've got Matic, who's getting on, and is did he play 90 minutes last night? I think if he didn't, he played most of it. Yeah. And a half-fit McTominay, and then players essentially out of position in Lingard and Bruno if they're playing as 8. Sorry. So I'm just going to ask Reece, what can he do? What midfield can he put together? What's the best approach there? Do you think it's going with a half-fit McTominay and just hoping that his adrenaline pulls him through, and go with McTominay hoping his legs last? Because we're not going to see Pogba possibly again now, are we? So I mean, it's a tricky one.
It is. I mean, he's going to be daft enough to go back 20 years and go back to a silly 4-4-2 or something like that, and really go all to goal and go with a smaller midfield. I'm not sure. It's going to be difficult, isn't it? I think obviously Matic has had a pretty much a full game, which is not very common these days. Like you say, could he stick Mata in there as well? We were talking about Mata. He's sort of brought Mata into the fray the last sort of couple of games, and he's sort of been around the first team a little bit more. Lingard obviously got some minutes, didn't he? So is Lingard going to come back in? Hannibal does he deserve a shout in midfield? It's tough. I mean, Bainesy, we've got a tough ask here with Simon on this Photoshop later on when we pick his team. I think he's going to have some work on his hands, and that $5,000 might be a bit difficult to win. But
definitely.
I don't know. It's just going to be. It's a tough one, isn't it? It could be anything. I mean, it was anything on the game on the weekend, wasn't it? Nobody could have picked that really. So I don't know. Really, it's tough ones. It's a tough one, Simon. If I'm honest, it's until we hear what the injury news is, sort of later on, probably tomorrow. Is it going to be the press conference? Maybe
Friday.
Maybe Friday. So we don't really know what we're playing with, do we? So it's difficult to say. I mean, personally, I mentioned it last night or the night before, I losing the track of time, but on the reaction show that I'd put the youngsters in, and not maybe starting them, but at least giving them some minutes, from now to the end of the season. I don't think we've got anything else to lose. We don't get this top 4. I think for me, it's kind of immaterial, really, in terms of what we're now trying to achieve with this club. So giving the youngsters some minutes is going to be more beneficial than it is a detriment. I think Animal proved that. You know, for me, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of made a case personally against that last week, but I think the good balance is to give them minutes towards the end of games. You maybe not put the pressure on them to start and hope that they're just going to do the business throughout or whatever. But I don't think there's harm in giving minutes like he did with Hannibal last night. I mean, he put some effort in it, which was nice to see, and potentially more than a lot of players have offered recently. But
yeah, you just kind of wish that it was done in the right manner. You know, obviously, if you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and you've got 15, 20 minutes to play, you stick Hannibal on, and he's like, he can show a bit of something. But when he's coming into a game like that last night, it's more damaging than it is a benefit, isn't it?
It's not good. That's not good for him, is it?
It's not good.
No, it's not good at all. But I think, if we do get on top of some of these games towards the end of the season, we need to start using them more often than just keeping them on the bench to fill out a bench. It's ridiculous. Use the kids if it's tight, if it's 0-0, or it's 1-1 or whatever else, and we need some spark. Put them in for 15 minutes, see what they can do. But yeah, for me, that midfield, I don't know. It could be anything, couldn't it?
Or nothing. We just want to have one. He just didn't bother pick him on last weekend, did he? So
just 7 at the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Should we try and construct a team then, fellas? I don't know what we're gonna. I don't know. We haven't got many.
I generally don't know how we're gonna do this.
Matic, Bruno, and Lingard. Just put Bruno back with Matic.
I kind of think he'll do that, since he kind of did that last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
With maybe obviously he's Pogba there instead of Matic. So
Pogba.
I didn't recall that before the Norwich preview. I did say during it, we didn't put Lingard in 11 balls. I don't be surprised if he starts.
He started, didn't he? Did he start?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Right. Well, we'll start with Big Dave now. Presumably Big Dave at back. I don't.
Wait. Where's the fancy graphic?
It's coming. I'm not. My computer is not enjoying its life currently, so I'm gonna get a feel for what we're gonna pick, and then I'll ask it to make a graphic, and maybe it'll churn one out in good time. So I'm going to assume we're starting De Gea in goal. Any disagreements with that?
No. Let's be honest here. No, it's going to be De Gea, isn't it?
Yeah. So the next big question is then what do we go with at right back? Now he kept swapping Wan-Bissaka and Delors around last night. Telles didn't start, obviously. I don't think he didn't get on either, did he? I don't think so. No. What's he going to go with at fullback, Bainsley? You tell me.
For me, and again, people will disagree on this, but I don't see the difference going forward between Delors and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And we all know that Aaron Wan-Bissaka one-on-one defensively is great. Okay, he gets caught out sometimes, but who fucking doesn't in this team? So I would put Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. It's going to be Lindelof and Maguire, and left back I'll have Telles. I forget who's right wing for Arsenal. Saka, isn't it? Or Martinelli?
Yeah. Oh my god!
Normally, yeah. So
Martinelli's left, isn't he?
It could even be a possibility that we see Delors playing left back rather than. I think there's a reason why Ranić left him out, Telles out. I just don't. He gets caught out of position a lot. He gets played in behind. He hasn't got recovery pace. He's got a wicked left foot on him, but that's about it, really. So I would put. To be honest, I'm tempted to put Delors left back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka right back, with Lindelof and Maguire as the centre back pair.
I love how Baines is pretending he's got like 1,000 options when really
I mean, what else would we change there? Because Varane's injured, Bailly and Jones aren't going to play.
There was talk that Varane, even though he wasn't ready, that he might have been ready for the Liverpool game.
So one-on-one sessions. One-on-one sessions. Yeah. Possibly, but I think it's too soon to bring Varane in. So like Reece said, I don't think we've got many options, but that would be my fault, I think.
Well, it's a big game though, so
yeah,
possibly.
I mean, like I said, he did kind. Yeah, well, they're all big and could all be very small after this weekend, but we'll see. Yeah, like I said, he kind of hinted at the fact that he kind of fancies anybody but Tellers at left back last night, didn't he? So,
Yeah.
what would you say, John? What would you go for as your full back choices? Would you put Tellers back in, or are you tempted to go with it?
I play Tellez at left back. He's not great defensively. He had a poor game against Norwich defensively, but I think Delo had an absolute nightmare last night, and I think Wan-Bissaka, while he wasn't great, he was probably slim pickings. He was possibly our best defender last night, possibly, even though it's not much. I think he was possibly the standout, so I will play him at right back. I played Tellez at left back. As for the central defensive, I will play Varane if he's fit. Personally, I think you need him in that team because I think that Maguire Lindelof partnership, they're just leaking goals for fun at the moment. And personally, I personally am of the opinion Maguire should be dropped now because I think he had an absolute nightmare against Liverpool. He was poor against Norwich, and he's just costing us. Yeah, he's not on his own. Everybody else is responsible, but for me, it's clear he doesn't have the. I don't think the players respect him as the captain anymore, and I don't think the players enjoy playing with him. So for me, it would be Varane if he's fit and Lindelof. But if Varane isn't fit, then you probably will have to play Maguire.
Yeah, I still can't see him dropping Maguire anyway.
I can't, but I still think for me, if it was my choice, I would.
Yeah. It is your choice, so that's the good thing about it. Abdel, I don't think I really have to ask you yours because I think I know it, but give me a 4 anyway at the back. I can just I just know it doesn't include Tellers, and then we'll go from there.
If there is anything that Tellez is good at other than striking the ball, I would actually say it, but there isn't. I have nothing against the guy. I really don't care. But he has nothing going for him except ball striking, set pieces. And just because, he runs a little bit more than Shaw, maybe, that's it. But I actually would play a wild card. I would put Maguire and Jones with Lindelof right back and start off with Aaron Wan-Bissaka left back and then switch them with the lot towards the end of the game.
To be honest, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, what did he played? He started left back, didn't he?
He got switched to the left back and then he did decent against Mo Salah.
Yeah. So I generally look. People don't like for some reason. People don't like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I like him. Okay, look. He doesn't look fancy. He's not FIFA Street, but I like him. I think he still works. Still works hard.
Yeah.
He can shut down a whole wing. He can shut down one of the
Like
crucial players.
It was obvious what Ranić was trying to do, putting Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the left side, which is to counteract Salah's left leg. But he matched him pace for pace. You know what I mean? He matched him. He stopped a 5th goal from going in. Almost stopped the 4th goal. But unlucky for him, it ricocheted and went in still. So he didn't do bad. He did not do badly. So I would put him against Saka. I wouldn't want to put either Dalot or Tellez against Saka. That's for sure.
It's an interesting take, actually. And it does make sense. And again, when Rangnick's kind of hinted at stuff like that, it wouldn't be a surprise to see it when he's done it in the game previous, obviously.
He did play Lindelof at right back against Atletico, didn't he?
Yeah, he has been done recently.
I don't remember anymore.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the game, but if you say it was that game, John, I believe you. But he has done it. Yeah, Reese, what's your call on this? Agree with Abdel's wild card choices, or would you go with something more standard? I guess.
I agree on Yeah, could pretend like Baines that there's 1,000 options and really just come to the same conclusion as everybody else. Yeah. I mean, for me, I was just looking at the previous lineup when we played them before. We won 3-2. Yeah, I felt we had a little bit more control, but yeah, Dallo right, Tellers left, Lindelof, Maguire in at centre half. But I think he'll go for something similar to that. I think it'll be Lindelof, Maguire, Tellers, and I think it'll be Wan-Bissaka right instead of like Abdel said. I thought Wan-Bissaka did well. I think for that 20 minutes in that second half when he changed it around, I thought we got control. And it was an unfortunate, silly pass in midfield that kind of killed us and resulted in that third goal, or else we'd have been. I was just watching Arsenal's goals back, actually, and similar to that, I know you mentioned the possession stats. And what they did quite well is when they got the ball and created chances, even though they had limited possession, they scored goals or created a chance from it, and that's what we're not doing. You know,
Each
there was moments in that
created,
second half,
they scored. They were prolific today. They were good.
Exactly. And then there was chances in that second half, early in that second half, where I think Ranić mentioned it, that they could have swung the game, but yet we're still not creating those chances. And that's where it kind of stifles you, really. If you're having 10 minutes of constant pressure and you're getting nothing from it, at some point you need to sort of reconvene and gather your breath back. And then if you're conceding a goal, it just knocks the stuff in right out of you. So that was unfortunate, but I didn't think Wan-Bissaka did poorly. If anything, I think he put a claim in for getting that right back position. So I think it'll be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Tellers left. As much as it pains me to say, and pains Abdul as well.
Yeah. Right. Well, here's off the voting. Here's how I have it. I think that means Wan-Bissaka would be right back because he's got 3 votes for right back, and then.
Do you, just to confirm, do you get straight on the phone to Ranić and mention that's the confirmed back four?
Clearly, that's what happened, Reece. I mean, come on. That's what
I've got a graphic, line. Ralph. Come on.
Like a Batman phone, direct line to Ranić. Yeah.
With a little red light on it.
That'd mean I'm to blame for these weird selections and results. Yes, so I'm not having that. I think we're probably assuming that Varane's maybe not going to make it. So from the votes, I would say it's Maguire and Lindelof centre backs. And there's 2 votes for Tellers at left back, which kind of wins him it, to be honest, because there's one for Wan-Bissaka and one for Delors. So sorry, Abdul, it's Tellers, I'm afraid.
Maybe you can split Wan-Bissaka in half.
It's all good.
Sorry, I'm sorry about this. You know what?
Disappointment in Abdel's face as well. He's for fuck's sake.
Is anybody a little bit surprised there, just to kind of on the left back position, why Brandon Williams hasn't been recalled? Just in terms of I think he's had a pretty decent season. No one surprised at that? No.
I think he's forgotten about. Like everybody forgot about Brandon Williams being on.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this.
I'll tell you, mate. It's we'll go on to midfield, but I'm sure Donny would have played in the midfield now with all the injuries in the midfield. Yeah. It's ironic he's on loan.
That was a real kick in the teeth, wasn't it?
What's even more ironic is that he went to Everton instead of Crystal Palace and not get picked there. He barely played.
Yeah, he barely plays at Everton as well, doesn't he? Okay, yeah.
I think he's been injured as well, hasn't he? But we can laugh at that. We can laugh at that, can't we? But I mean, it's just looking like a bad decision as much as anything now, though, as well, isn't it? Like, it's not.
That's what I hinted at, is that one decision could, either switch your career to something really good or something really bad. Like, it's just one decision.
Yeah. Well, so the graphic is taking a little bit of time to load up, so just bear with me a second. But we'll move on to the midfield, Baines. What the hell is he going to do?
Oh, mate, honestly,
tell me.
I really don't know. I was just thinking about it now. It's going to be
Phil Jones, Painsy.
No. No, I refuse. I think Phil Jones is going to.
Where's
start? No. Probably. If McTominay's fit, I think he's a guaranteed starter. Ranić played him and Fred continuously since he's been there. So as soon as one of them's fit, they're playing. So if McTominay is fit, I'll put him in. Bruno's going to play. Matic played 90 minutes. Doubt he's going to start. Ooh, then it's only Lingard. Pogba's out. Then got Van der Beek. Mata, maybe we could possibly make a vouch for Mata. I'm going to go with. This is going to be such a shit midfield. I'm going to go with Bruno, Lingard, and McTominay. That doesn't even work, to be honest.
Oh my god!
It doesn't even work, does it? I generally don't know. What is it?
Well, Jesse's played practically. Well, he's practically started 2 games. I know he came on.
Yeah.
Still
I want energy in midfield. My thought process is playing energy in midfield, and the only energetic ones are McTominay and Lingard, and to some degree, obviously Bruno does work quite hard.
Yeah, he does.
So I just find it quite interesting how he was one of the ones that came out and did a press conference as well. Which was like, is there some truth in that in terms of, is he back in the fray a little bit? I don't know, but yeah.
I don't know, but you know we want to play anyway, wouldn't you? But whichever midfield you any of you pick here is going to be it's going to have its faults. It's going to have its flaws. Let's be kind and say that. John, what do you think you're going to go with?
Be interesting to see if he can play after playing the full game on Tuesday. But if he cannot play Matic, McTominay's fit, I'll play him and Bruno for me.
So Bruno, seems like Bruno's in. That's no surprise to anybody. Abdel, refresh me on what you said. Did you say Bruno?
Matic, Bruno, and Lingard as in the 10.
Yeah. I can see Lingard getting a start. I mean,
I can see Matic starting as well. I know he played 90, but I just
he does like a goal at the Emirates, Jesse, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves a goal at the Emirates. Yeah,
the dance floor, as it's affectionately known to him. Yeah. So a couple of calls for Jesse Lingard to start there. So Reese, you're the boss. I think you're going to get the final say on this one. What are you going for? What's your 3?
Again, just looking at it previously, because I don't think he'll change much from the last time we played Arsenal. If I'm honest, I think he'll stick with a similar formation. Albeit, I think he really should just go with an old school 4-4-2. As much as that would be terrible, and just go with like two in midfield, and probably go Bruno and Matic or something like that, and go Rashford, Elanga, Ronaldo up front, or something daft like that. Rashford and Ronaldo up front, but I think he'll go Matic, probably McTominay if he's fit. I agree with Bainesy. I think he'll play, and then Bruno in that attacking role as well. So it'll be Bruno, McTominay, Matic, I think. But again, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Right. Well, that's 3 votes for Matic, even though he played the full 90 yesterday. Bruno's in all them. So it's Bruno and Matic, and then I think it looks like a toss-up between Lingard and McTominay. Well, McTominay's in 3 lineups, actually, so it's McTominay. There you go.
McTominay, Matic. To be fair, McTominay, Matic and Bruno isn't bad.
No, that has been used before as well.
Has been used,
it's not
completely the best midfield we have.
At the moment, yeah.
If they're not fit, then it's going to have to be Lingard and
So
maybe
possibly. It's possible, isn't it? But I think he'll go with experience. Even if he gets an hour out of McTominay, that's probably what he'll do. So yeah, we'll go for that as well. So I'll send that off to be loaded up, and we'll wait for it to come back because it's been extra slow still. But that takes us to the forward line anyway, Bainesy. What you thinking on that front?
Sancho, Ronaldo, Elanga.
Sancho, Ronaldo. Nice.
I wouldn't mind. Generally, I wouldn't mind Rashford, but you just don't know what Rashford you're going to get. So we'll go with. And I don't actually think Sancho had a bad game.
No, I was a bit surprised to see him left out. Really, to be honest.
Yeah, he was dangerous when he came on for the second half. So yeah, Sancho, Ronaldo is definitely going to play, considering he trained today, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he train? Yeah, I think I saw a report about him training.
Yeah, he did.
He'll probably play.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure in what kind of mental state he would be in. So let's just presume he's okay. So Ronaldo, Alanga, and Sancho for me.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it kind of ties in with what he's been doing recently, I would say. John, what's your three for your forward line?
I'll second Baines here. I think Sancho, Ronaldo, and then Ilanga.
Nice. Abdel, anything extra to that? Would you switch any of that up?
Yeah, I would say Sancho left, Ronaldo center, and Mata on the right.
Mata? You're loving a curveball tonight, man. Loving it, aren't you?
He just wants to see something different.
I'm just trying.
Right outside of Lindelof and Mata.
The thing is,
that is quite interesting though, because does that become a 4-4-2 then? Because does Mata drop back into midfield and then you have a front two? Do you have a diamond midfield?
I'm thinking it becomes more of a diamond or a box.
Yeah.
And not really a diamond, a box, because I'm thinking of the tendencies of these players. So you have Lingard, who likes to go to the left a little bit, and then you have Mata, who's swift in centrally because when he's on the right, which is the right half space. So that makes a box with Bruno and Matic. I'm thinking of my own lineup, and then you've got that will leave Sancho and Ronaldo up top, taking the central areas, and Sancho is more of a layoff guy, so he can help Ronaldo by just playing him in for that final pass. So yeah, I'm just trying to make a team out of whatever we have that fits each other well. So that's the point.
Yeah,
I don't think Alanga. Yeah, I don't think Alanga, Ronaldo.
We don't do that here, Abdel. We don't do teams.
Each other. We do individuals, right?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, Reese. I think you'll probably have the call on that. Are you going to go with Mata? Or are you going to go with Alanga, or maybe even Rashford? And I mean, if you vote for anybody but Alanga,
well, Sancho didn't start, did he, against Liverpool? So I think Sancho is going to get a start, whether it be probably left, won't it? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it, with Rashford or Sancho? I'm going to go Rashford, Sancho, either side, depending on. Again, it doesn't really matter. I think they'll probably be inverted, won't they? They'll probably go Sancho. They're both right-footed. It doesn't really matter. Rashford right, Sancho left, Ronaldo down the middle. I think will be the three. But my preference is similar to Abdul. Really, that Rashford kind of forms part of a striking partnership with Ronaldo, and Sancho sort of feeds into a midfield when we're defensive. I was looking at Arsenal's goals today again. They were quite central. A lot of their goals came straight central. They weren't really wide. All four of them came down the middle. So we do need to compact the kind of midfield a little bit and force them wide, because they aren't going to cross. They're not going to cross with the height they've got in their team. So we've got to kind of force them wide a little bit.
well, I think despite your best efforts, Abdel and Reese, I think that means Alanga gets the call in our kind of favoured 11. I mean, it's been a toss-up between Alanga and Rashford for weeks, hasn't it? So I think we can all agree that Sancho deserves to come back in, and if Ronaldo's fit, he starts, doesn't he? Invariably anyway. So it looks like that's what we're going with. How confident will we be of getting 3 points with that team, Bainesy? And whilst we're here...
Do the scores. Yeah. All right. So confidence in 0. I've got absolutely none. Now, I will, for anyone that's new on this show and watching for the first time, every single time I've put United to win, we've drawn or lost, and every single time I've put United to lose, we've won. So on that, I'm going to go Arsenal 3-0. I'm doing it. I don't care.
Oh my!
And if I'm right, fuck it, win-win.
And your first goal scorer for Arsenal, then?
Ben White.
Oh my god!
Oh dear!
I'm gonna look. It worked against Norwich. All right, so I'm gonna try again.
Yeah, no, you had to be fair. I did quite like this comment we've just had there through from Logan saying, don't know if it'll let me show it actually while we got this up. Yeah, well, proper syndicate. Look good from the outside when you were imposters. That's good. That's kind of our team. We always quite like our team, don't we? When we put it up on our graphic, it looks nice and everything, but
it looks good. It looks good. This is what I mean. Well, like with all this. Sorry, just quickly. I like this whole rebuild thing. I don't think we're that far off. And honestly, it's okay. Look, there's definitely talent there. We've got talent in our squad. The confidence is shot to bits. So I don't think we've got as bad as players that everyone seems to think. I mean, 2 seasons ago, we were putting them up on a pedestal and thinking, yeah, he's great, he's doing well. We need to add this person in. As soon as we add him, I don't think it's that bad. I think, the media are overhyping this whole rebuild of 15 players coming in and all that. I just think the contract guys will just go in your Lingard, your Pogbas, your Matas, your Matic, Jones, Bailly. I mean, I've named 6 or 7 there that are going to go. And then you just bring in your reinforcements. You back up centre back, your couple midfielders or whatever. So I generally don't think it's that bad.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I feel like a lot of the fans feed off commentators and what they do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right.
100%.
So if the commentators like to make drama, right, like to make the whole thing like it's a catastrophe. So for example, Peter Drury after the 4th goal, blah blah blah. Oh, the 2 teams are galaxies apart. The gap between them is not only in talent but in points and whatever. So when you hear that as a fan, you feel like, oh my God, when are we gonna, become a competent team again? And then you'll feel like, oh, it will take us 6, 7, 10 years to probably catch up to Liverpool. But think about it this way: they were below us last season. They jumped 30 points.
I don't think it's that bad. I just think we had a really shit season.
The season before, we were 30 points behind them. So these point gaps can be reduced very fast. The idea is you just have to put together an 11 that fit each other well. That's all it is. You have good players, but they have good players that serve so many different purposes. They just do not come to go together. They just don't add up. And that's why they're confused. That's why they're lack of confidence. That's why they look lost. That's why they look like they're not trying. I feel like most of them are trying, but they're just trying in a mess. And that's why I don't want any of the youngsters coming into this team. I don't want them to build up bad habits. Like even Matic, for God's sake, we dragged him down with our mess into doing bad habits. Like Matic is not the guy that commits and overcommits and let a space just behind him like that. He started doing that too.
He's meant to be the safe one out of all of them.
Yeah, exactly, right? He's meant to be the guy who reads the game well because he's actually a natural DM. Even Alanga started picking up bad habits. You know how he was the first few games? He was electric and he was very hardworking and he tracked back every single move. Now even Alanga's picking up some really bad habits. So it's just put a team that fits well together and they'll all click together. Exactly. People put so much big emphasis on managers improving players, when the trick is they just pick the right players to put them into a correct puzzle and they all grow together. It's just not like, it's not like Pep spends most of his time one-on-one with Mahrez to improve his shooting. No, he bought Mahrez shooting well already, He just put him in a team that fits Mahrez's weaknesses and strength. That's all he did, Pep. And then Mahrez grows as a player together with the team. That's it.
Yeah, I wanted to actually mention something that you posted yesterday, Abdul. And you posted a vote thing about have United bought bad players, good players with the environment not right and not fitting each other's, good players that can't handle the pressure, or bad players. And it was interesting that it came out pretty emphatically on good players in the wrong environment. I just thought, but out of nearly 1,500 votes, everybody kind of accepts that they are good players, and if we're realistic, they've not just become bad players overnight.
It just clicked with me. Like this was a thought that I had. Then I watched the match, and it actually clicked. I'm like, even the players who are good are picking up bad habits, And then I remembered the press conference that Ollie gave after the win we had over Liverpool that thrashed us, 3-2 in the FA Cup and the 9-0 to Southampton. And he iterated a couple of words, which is still ringing in my head. He's like, we have to start picking up good habits and stay consistent on them, right? But we haven't been picking up the good habits. In fact, they reverted to type, which is the bad habits that they're used to. Like, for example, Rashford. Ollie got him to track back for a while, but then he reverted to type and then didn't bother tracking back. If you watch Rashford against City, against Liverpool in those matches, you see a guy that's running back, keeping his eye on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson and tracking their movement. Where is that guy now? He's not asked about tracking back anymore because he doesn't know what the hell is going on, right? So he reverted back to his older habits.
Confidence is a big thing for me.
Yeah, confidence.
You add everything what Abdel said, and you couple that with confidence. You have got a well-performing team. Confidence does wonders to a player.
100%, guys. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's in transition as well. Randy mentioned it yesterday how poor we are in transition, not only offensively but defensively. Noticing that when we lost the ball for the first goal yesterday, that was a moment of transition. So they'd won the ball and they're transitioning into attack, and it's identifying that situation quickly and dealing with it. When I mentioned yesterday about the first 20 minutes of the second half, and I mentioned Arsenal today, how little possession they had, but how well they dealt with it in certain transitional moments. So they won the ball on the break, they won it off Chelsea. Chelsea were trying to play it out, they got caught in midfield. Arsenal have got the ball on the attack, got Chelsea on the back foot. They transition to attack quickly and then make a chance from it. That's quick transition, and it's, as you say, Baines, that's confidence. It's realising that everybody sees the situation that, hold on a minute, we've won the ball in midfield. We all need to go. We need to go. This is an opportunity where we need to go. But yet we're slow in transition. We play it back. We go backwards. We go left. We go right. And we kill it. And then we allow the teams to just sit and block against us. And it's like, that was a transitional moment. You've reset. You didn't need to reset. We're a team where we've got to use the count. We've got to break quickly and use those. We're not going to dominate the ball. It's going to be long before we dominate the ball.
This is what Pep said. Do you remember what Pep said when we beat? Was it 2-1 when Liverpool won the title? And he said before the game, he says, "I'm shit scared." And the reporter was like, "What do you mean?" He went, "These guys are frighteningly quick. If we lose the ball, we're in a counter attack, and next thing you know, it's 3 versus 2, and you had Rashford, Martial, and Dan James as the 3, and Pep was like, I don't know how to defend that. You can't. They're too quick."
It's what Liverpool do against City now, isn't
it? Every team does it. Every team does it.
To this day, the one match that Pep used Rodri and Fernandinho at the same time was the match against us at Old Trafford.
Old Trafford,
they beat us, No, it was 0-0. It ended in 0-0.
Sorry, that game. Season. Okay, yeah, I thought you meant the League Cup.
It was the only match that he used both Rodri and Fernandinho to counteract our counterattacks. So even Pep and Klopp were scared of our counterattacks. Why? We moved as a unit. I know Stu is gonna come back at me with this one. He keeps saying Ten Hag plays a pendulum. Like, everybody plays a pendulum because the team has to move together forward and the team has to go back together. If you don't do that, no team wins a game. Yeah. If it's just like 4 players here, 4 players there, 2 players in the middle, it's like it's not a compact shape anymore. So it has to be a unit. Get destroyed. And we were like that for a long time under Ollie. But this season, because of the drastic change in style by the addition of Cristiano and not strengthening the midfield, everything changed, and it's changed so quickly they were not able to adapt to it.
We've played catch up ever since. John, we'll get your score predictions and your first goal scorer, please, mate, before we. I
may be gonna stupidly go hard over head on this one, but there's been a few score lines like this season, including the first fixture this season. I think our defence is hopeless. I think we'll concede. Just got a feeling Ronaldo might have a big save, so I'm gonna go for 3-2 United because I think it'll be end to end. And first goal scorer, I'm going to back Ilanga because he hasn't scored in a while.
Yeah, I think it is due one. I like your confidence. We said we are going to have a little bit of positivity.
You got to be full of hope, don't you?
yeah. I'm not sure it's confidence. I'm just sure. I think it's just maybe blind optimism. But
We might just turn up. Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully. Abdul, what you going for on Saturday? How do you think it's going to pan out?
I'll do what Bainsley did, but I won't go for a loss. It's too difficult for me to go for a loss. So I'll just say 2-2. You know?
I always go 2-2 when I'm a bit unsure.
Well, and hopefully it will not go as I say and we win. So
let's just hope we're wrong. That's it. That's all I hope.
Exactly.
Have you got a first goal scorer for me, Abdul?
I'd say Sancho. I really want Sancho to score. He's the only player that's been really doing something in our team. So
it feels quite easy to back as well, Sancho, because he does seem to be offering something for us as well. Reece, you finally, how are you feeling? Can you give me some optimism and are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I am. In simple terms. But I mean, there's my heart saying draw on this one. It really is. But I'm gonna go and be a bit more positive and say we're gonna scrape it 1-0, and I'm gonna stick with Rashford. I'm gonna say he's showed a little bit of something against Liverpool towards the end. I know he wasn't fantastic, but I'm hoping that he really knuckles down and he gets a goal and gets over a little bit of a mental drought than anything else and a goal drought. So, yeah, I'm going to say 1-0 Rashford.
I don't know what's more surprising about Reece's prediction. Rashford scoring whilst keeping a clean sheet.
I know, yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
It's all optimism. No 5K anyway. Though,
I hope I'm wrong and you guys are right. That's all I say.
For my chance at the 5K, I'm going to go. I think 1-1. I think a draw's possibly a bit of a cop out option, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
The fence, isn't it?
I'm copping out.
It's got 1 all over it, hasn't it? I think. I mean,
it's got 0-0 over it as well. Watch.
I'm going to go.
No, we won't keep a clean sheet, mate.
I to be fair, I just said we're not going to keep a clean sheet, and I've just gone 0-0. Yeah.
You know what? To be fair to Reece, actually, these games are the games that Rashford usually thrive in. He'll have a lot of space in behind, so I mean, he could possibly get a goal. So it was close against Liverpool for one chance, but he fluffed it with his touch. So
yeah, hopefully
they always go against us.
Yeah, for my actual chance to win the money as well. I'm going to go Saka first goal. I'm going to use the I can't think what the term is. Reverse psychology thing.
I'm surprised this 5K hasn't rolled over anyway, Simon. I'm not sure anybody's got the prediction right. So is it not more?
It's like 25.
Yeah, 25 grand. Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it's worth it now.
Yeah.
Thanks,
man.
This is my motive. If you're gonna win it properly. Be positive.
Ben's But Ben's gonna have a very disappointed missus when his wedding gets cancelled because we've took 25. Yeah, never mind.
Right, sorry, I have to pay the lads. They got a score prediction right.
That possibly be the worst one ever. That one, worst wedding cancellation ever. Yeah, right. We'll leave it there. Reece, are you doing the post match on a Saturday? Is it?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure if any of you guys are with me on that, but yeah, I am.
I'm not sure. Good. Right. Well, be sure to join Reece on that after the game, whichever way it goes, obviously, and keep watching on the channel. Obviously, there'll be other stuff out over the course of the week. Keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. We love seeing your comments as well, and it's we're enjoying these Wednesday night shows, so hopefully everybody else is too. But until next time, in fact, not for me because I'm away next week, so someone else will have to do it next week. No Sky Sports graphics next week, Burnsy, I'm afraid. So you got to
have next week, don't we, on Thursday?
Yeah. So it'll be earlier next week anyway. But either way, it won't be me doing the show. But I'm sure someone will do the show. So for me, I'll see you after the Brentford game, probably when the season may or may not be over.
Hopefully, we're not in tears. Yeah.
It will be at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Lucky old Brentford.
Yeah. So maybe some positivity by then. Who knows? But I will see you all later, guys. Thanks to my panel, Bainesy, John, Abdel, Reese. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Peace.
Can't find it.